If you think you've had a bad interview, if you didn't bust your nose and spray blood all over the walls, your interview probably went pretty good.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Workplace Weirdness, the non-HR HR podcast where we dive into the strangest office situations and most awkward workplace dramas. I'm your host, Kadar Kovalsky, and I'm a former chief culture officer and head of people. I've seen and heard it all, so truly no judgments. So let's get real and explore the cringy, confusing, and chaotic side of office life. Today, we're discussing transactional office friends, misogi for the new year, and missing milestones. I'm joined today by William Tincup. William is a leading figure in the world of human resources and recruitment technology and is a co-founder of the work-focused podcast network, Work Defined. William, I'm so happy to have you here today with me.
Happy to be here. Thanks for the offer, and I'm excited to see where we go.
I know that your LinkedIn states that you say what others won't, or can't. So lay it on me. What's one unpopular opinion you have about HR, recruiting, HR tech? I want to hear it.
I'll give you an example of giving people bad news. About 3 weeks ago, I had a technology company reach out to me, entrepreneur, been working on this, recruiting product for about 18 months. So he's showing me everything, all the features, benefits, attributes. And he gets to the end and he goes, okay, what do you think? And my normal response is always when someone asks me what I think is, how do you like your feedback? So I'm giving them an out to then say, I just want to hear the positive stuff. I want to be validated, or I want to hear it all. I want it unvarnished, which is how he responded. I want the unvarnished. I want the whole you. I want to give it to me straight. I'm like, okay. So here's what you need to do. You need to delete everything that you've built, because what you've built was built in 2016. So you're 9 years behind, which means that you'll spend the next 2 years of your lives pushing a boulder uphill, only to find out you need to build newer tech.
That is so rough, though, to hear, don't you think?
Again, I asked, how do you like your feedback?
And what if you had said, give me only the good stuff? Would you have done that?
I would have found something that's good. Like the UI is really nice. I really like the color scheme, etc. But he didn't. And really what I was trying to do with him is not only get him to understand how off the market he was, but also not to waste his time.
I think there's certainly value in that.
Like he wasted 18 months just to get to a place to try to go to market. He would have got crushed. If he would take that product to market, no one's buying it. Personally, I don't like positive feedback, and I don't like unsolicited feedback. So I like negative solicited feedback. If I respect you, I'll ask you, all right, give it to me straight, because I respect you and I'm soliciting the feedback.
What about negative unsolicited?
Oh, that just goes in the trash.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't care. If I don't know you, it just goes in one ear and out the other. Like, again, this is the worst presentation ever. I don't know you, son.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the products that you've seen. I want to hear what's going on in HR tech. What are most of the, what are most people doing? What are the kind of trends that you're seeing?
We're talking about the vendor community is still in love with talking about how technology works. For almost 8 years now, we've been talking about AI, which was really machine learning and NLP to start off with. Then it was generative AI and agentic AI and, all these different flavors of AI. And the miss is most practitioners don't care, won't understand the how, and don't really need to know the how. They need to know about the output of what it's doing. But we're beating them to death. This is AI and this is going to create a bot and it's going to do this. Like, why? Why are you talking to, it's like a car salesman talking about
how the engine works or something.
Yeah. Like how many Tesla drivers actually know how the Tesla works? They don't know that. They shouldn't. That's not the game for the person that would buy a Tesla. It's the same with HR tech. We beat them to death with things that they don't need to know or care about.
It's about maybe appearing like you're trendy or like you're in the know of what's happening, but really, like you said, what they care about is a certain goal that they want to meet, or maybe following certain metrics, I don't know, getting certain data on their staff. How can companies kind of be better at evaluating also what they really need?
Workforce planning is, years ago we used competency models and very important. However, maybe 1% of the companies that implemented a competency model actually use the competency model insofar as recruiting, promoting, firing. Skills, it's the same thing-ish, but what's different this time is you don't have time. Like your workforce planning folks, they have to look at skills in a way of looking, do we have it? Can we harvest it? Do we need to buy it? Do we outsource it? Like their job is, and they can't look out 3 years. They can't even look out 2 years. They've got to look out 6-9 months. And so the speed in which skills decay is super rapid.
It's really hard to make that kind of projection without time in order to make the projection, I think.
If you're asking the question, how do you inventory the skills you have, and then you evaluate the skills that you need, and the delta between the two is then kind of how do we fill that gap? Do we hire? Do we, train and harvest our own talent? Do we go buy talent? Do we use offshore? All that stuff, like freelancers. Like now it's a game of like, wait a minute, I need that skill, but I don't need to hire a person that does that full time because we don't have enough work for that full time. Boy, and this is going to break some hearts. You've also got CEOs and boards that are falling in love with a revenue to employee number. And so they're falling more in love with, wait a minute, we want that number to be as high as possible. So we want, if you got 20 employees and you're making, 220 million, that's a million employee. Okay. They're falling in love with that. I could invest in that person, let's say $200,000, or I could make a $200,000 investment in AI. And I'm going to make the $200,000 investment in AI. Less employees, less hiring. Yeah. This is a soul crusher. Sorry for the audience.
It is. I'm feeling it.
I just stabbed your audience in the heart.
It's all right. It's all good. So we ask every guest, what is their weirdest workplace moment? So I'm kind of curious, if you've ever had like an aha moment, an embarrassing moment, something that kind of opened your eyes to work differently.
So this is a poor interview for an employee or a prospect to come to work for my ad agency. Basically, I was the last interview of all hires. We had probably 75 employees at the time. This woman comes in. So I'm asking esoteric questions, basically trying to find out what I know about the person. Like, what Beatles album are you? Like I'm not asking anything skills-based, any of that stuff, because they've already done it.
Right. You're doing what I would consider like the culture interview.
Yeah. We're really I still to this day, I like to learn how people think.
Right.
That's the most important. Like, so if I can figure out how you think, okay, I can interact with you wherever that is. And so this woman had a 4-inch binder. She's a project manager. She pushes her binder over to me. I have zero fucking interest in looking at a binder at this particular point in my life. I'm like, I've already said yes. You just don't know it yet. Like, okay. So she pushes the binder over. I flip through a couple pages. Then I get back to esoteric questions that I like. She pushes her binder over. I flip a couple pages. And then I stopped flipping pages because I don't care. And she did it 3 times. And on the 4th time, her chair had pushed out from behind her. So she goes to sit down, chair flies back, and she nosedives and hits the table. And blood is like it's like a Tarantino movie. Blood is everywhere. And I froze. I didn't know what to do. And so she raises back up, blood's everywhere. And I froze. Like I just looked down and started looking at her binder. Blood's everywhere. And I just wouldn't look up. I'm like, we'll see how this goes. No empathy, no sympathy, no tissues, nothing. So she goes to the restroom and comes back with tampons cut
Right.
in her nose because I think she broke her nose.
Oh my gosh.
But there's blood everywhere. And, it was an awkward dismount because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what this to do with this. But I learned about myself. Okay, I don't have a lot of empathy. And that's not right. That's a character flaw. I mean, that's something that I'm not bragging about.
So you're working on always. Yeah.
That helped. Now, the funny part of that, we didn't hire. Clearly.
I was just going to ask, so what's the upshot of this, though? First of all, was there something really interesting in the binder? I kind of thought maybe you were going to tell me, and then I discovered why she wanted me to look at the binder because, I don't know, whatever.
Nothing interesting in a binder.
Okay.
And I actually paid attention to it.
Well, she finally got her way with you, is what I want to say. You finally looked at the binder. That's for sure.
So she leaves. The rest of my team that's been invested in hiring this person comes in, and they see the blood. Blood got it to the wall. Blood is everywhere. They're
I guess you didn't like this person that much.
They're like, what did you do to her? I'm like, I didn't do shit. I was just asking her questions. And she fell off her chair, hit her nose.
Brain exploded.
I don't know. They're like, are we going to hire? I'm like, oh, hell no. I can't be around that going forward. If you think you've had a bad interview, if you didn't bust your nose and spray blood all over the walls, your interview probably went pretty good.
I'm with you. Yeah, I like that. Good perspective. Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing.
No worries.
Before we continue, I want to break for just a second to ask listeners to follow and subscribe to this podcast. It really helps the show grow and helps us bring you more weird work conversations. Hey, quick break from AI. If you're enjoying Workplace Weirdness and you're thinking, wow, it's comforting to know other people's jobs are just as messy as mine, do us a favor. Follow the show, leave a review, or share this episode with the one coworker who would absolutely get it. New episodes drop every other Wednesday, and we've got more cringy emails, baffling bosses, and anonymous confessions coming your way. This is your safe space to laugh about the weird stuff work throws at you. Stay weird. Now, back to the episode. Before we get to our listener questions, let's stay up to date with the week in work. This is our take on recent trends in the workplace that are changing how we work or how we think about work life. So today, because it's the beginning of the year, let's talk about the topic of misogi. Have you heard of this concept, William?
Refresh me. I've seen it, but I just want to make sure.
So it was recently really popularized by Jesse Itzler, who's an entrepreneur and author who I follow. It challenges people to define their year through one audacious goal. So a misogi is a Japanese concept, originally a Shinto practice of purification that's now been extended into the workplace. So a lot of people talk about my misogi for this year is XYZ. People create one large, difficult to achieve goal to define the year and hold the focus on that big picture objective. Jesse Itzler himself, for instance, rode a bike across America a few years ago. He made it a huge, huge, huge goal. I think everybody does it, for themselves. I'm just interested to hear what you think about the concept of misogi, and also do you set New Year's goals? I'm just curious how it sort of.
I haven't set New Year's resolutions in 30 years because I believe it's the optimism of December gets stomped on very quickly in Q1. For me, it actually tramples my productivity because I'm not hitting those things. So the concept for me resonates because it's in sports. There's a phrase called "keep the main thing the main thing." You could measure everything. It's not a question of measurement or even getting data or any of that type of stuff. It's what do you really care about? Because my life and work are intertwined. It's I could make separate ones for those types of things. So I do the reflection of the last year in December, and then I look at what worked, what didn't, and then I assess and say, okay, what's really important to me,
right?
And for me, then that becomes the thing that I'll judge myself at the end of 26, but not during.
I'm here with Work Define's co-founder, William Tincup. William, we have a letter from an employee who feels manipulated by a friend, a colleague. Let's check it out. Maya, I have a coworker who, on the surface, seems friendly. They smile, joke around, and are nice in passing, but I've started noticing a pattern. They only really talk to me or respond enthusiastically when they need a favor, like covering a shift or getting feedback on something. The rest of the time, they feel distant. I don't want to overreact or create drama, but I also don't want to keep letting myself be taken advantage of. How do I handle a coworker like this? Is it worth saying something directly to them? William, what do you think would be your advice to this person?
Well, know your value. That'd be the first thing. If you're great in Excel and you know you're great in Excel, someone else is coming to you, acknowledge that they're coming to you, not to just shift work, or it's because they can't do it themselves, generally speaking. And then get them to acknowledge that. The person comes over and say, hey, can you? It's never a question of can. It's should you. And so in talking to them, like, is that taking away from doing your job? The sense of manipulation, that's a self-inflicted. You can think you're being manipulated, or you can think that they're coming to you for your expertise. Getting the other person to acknowledge that that's happening, I think is important, so that you feel like it's been acknowledged. Okay, cool. We can get on to other things. The next time they come to you and say, hey, can you? It's just like, totally. But I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Am I doing this because you value my experience, or am I doing this because you don't want to do it? And no harm, no foul.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to judge you, but I want to understand, because I have a job that I need to do. So every time that I'm doing something for you, I'm taking away from something that I should be doing elsewhere. And I want to make sure that I can come to you with specialties that you have and help me.
So I'm with you on the benefit of the doubt piece. I certainly thought, I was like, well, it's a work friend. And sometimes it can feel transactional when somebody's asking you to do something. So I would ask myself, if I was this person, have I been doing something, like that's against my morals? Are they asking me something to, am I being sneaky or something? But if it's not, if it's just a regular work thing, people do turn on the charm sometimes when they're asking you something. And you know what, for 100%. What it's worth, we're all really busy. So I wouldn't hold that against them necessarily. But like you said, I could test it. You could either, if you're interested in this person in a different way, in other words, to be more of a friend, ask them to lunch, ask them to coffee, whatever, again, within the parameters of work.
See if this is just like they're coming to me because of my expertise or because they just want to offload work, etc.
Thanks, William. And listener, I hope you can build a real friendship if that's what you want. Our next question is from a listener who's feeling left behind and it's beginning to make them mad. I know comparison is unhealthy, but I can't seem to avoid it at work lately. I'm in my mid-30s and it feels like everyone around me is hitting huge milestones all at once. Coworkers buying houses, jumping up the ladder, getting fancy new titles, starting families, you name it. Meanwhile, I'm still in the same role I've been in for a couple of years. It's not that I'm unsuccessful. I get good reviews, and honestly, I know I'm more competent than a few people who somehow leapfrog past me into promotions. But watching everyone else move up so quickly makes me feel almost angry. How do you deal with that sinking feeling that your life and career isn't moving as fast as everyone else's? They say to compare is to despair, but sometimes we can still get into a rut. So let's sort of break this out. William, what do you think?
I don't compare myself to anybody at all, ever.
Why am I not surprised about that? I can tell.
I just don't even look. I don't even care, because you're not in competition with others. You're in competition with yourself. Like, who's the best version of you? How do you get to the best version of you? That's your competition. The people to the sides of you, that's not your competition. So if you're getting good reviews, then why isn't that translating into some other things, which means that you need to ask the question. Hey, it seems like I'm getting good reviews. It seems like you're happy with my work. What's next for me?
You can ask tough questions, but let me be honest with you. If somebody were to ask me that, I'd say, well, what do you want to do? So that means you got to also spend time thinking what you need, what you want to do. Because what it sounds like is when you're looking around you, it's like maybe you don't know what your kind of, like we were talking about misogi and goals and what your sort of audacious next move is for yourself.
Advice, take it or don't. Stop looking at other people, ever. Like, just stop looking at other people, because it's data that's useless to you.
I love that. But I want to say one last thing is that it's not too late. I think sometimes people get into this mentality. It's like, oh man, everyone's passing me by. I guess it's too late. My ship, like the ship has not sailed. People start their careers. Some people are late bloomers. For instance, I always use the example that Morgan Freeman started his acting career at 50 years old. That is amazing. In other words, there's always time. And if you start today, whatever your goal is, you can still get there.
So visualization exercise real quick. Close your eyes. 18-year-old Morgan Freeman, what does he look like?
Very cute. I don't know. How am I supposed to answer that? Yeah, I can see it in my eye. I can see it in my mind.
It's hard to imagine a young Morgan Freeman.
Right. We don't know that. We don't know what he looks like.
That's right. So anyhow, that's
an interesting one. I thought you were taking me through a meditation, and I was all there for it. I was like, yeah, we're gonna zen out.
It was a parlor trick. That's all.
I really was going with you there. Anyway, amazing. So that's exactly it. We the bottom line is it's never too late. And that I love the fact that we're like, but you need to step up and ask for it. And part of asking for it is knowing what you need. And now, every week we cover one question addressing the kind of cringeworthy work event that'll make you wonder how you're supposed to hit the ground running when you can't even get basic access. This week's cringeworthy question comes from a new employee who hasn't received even the basic onboarding. Let's take a look. Dear Workplace Weirdness, I'm on my 4th day at a new technical job. I still don't have my own login because the tech person who handles all the access setup is on vacation. Because of that, I've had to keep asking my manager to log me into the system every time the computer times out. He's been polite about it, but I can tell I'm interrupting him, and I feel awful having to tap him on the shoulder every time after I come back from a break or lunch or even the bathroom. It's making me anxious. I genuinely want to make a good first impression. How do I make this feel more smooth? So I actually find this very funny because why do you even feel awkward about the fact that, the manager has to log you in each time? It's their fault. It's like the company's fault. But William, what do you think?
You've already made a great first impression because you got hired in a down market. So first of all, I think the person is overthinking it. People go on vacations, work stops, work gets disrupted. Your manager knows that. He or she is not frustrated at you. That's all you. That has nothing to do with them. They know that person is out and that they have to log you in.
I exactly agree with you. 100%. I said to myself when I read this, I was like, the person's not making a bad impression. The company's making a bad impression on the person.
Right,
it's like the opposite.
Right.
It's like they're the ones who are at fault here. Luckily, you're not taking it that way. But I actually even said to myself, maybe if I was in this position, I'd even utilize this as a way to get to know that manager better. Like here, 100%. You have to tap on the office 5 times a day. So one of those times, bring a coffee with you, talk to him for 5 minutes, do something to sort of make him remember you.
Yeah, leverage that moment because you might not have that moment. Once the IT person comes back and gets you self-sufficient, you might not have as much interaction with your manager as you do now.
Sometimes when you're younger and when you're more junior, I understand you have deference and respect for the bosses and for the managers, but at the end of the day, we're all people and we really understand. I'm happy that you agree with me on this one, William, because I just want people to loosen up a little bit and relax because I think it's just okay. And
that person had a hand in your hiring. So they'd be shooting themselves in the foot if they were mad at you, especially on something that maybe they could control or couldn't control. It's an easy fix. I think people overthink a lot of these things. You got hired in a down market, in a market that isn't really emphasizing hiring humans.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you got hired, you've already succeeded.
Yeah.
So you should be thinking about that and not how you're, impacting this other person's life.
Exactly. Honestly, also the person knows that they could give you the code. If they needed to, they'd write it on a Post-it note and hand it to you.
100%.
But since they didn't do that, then they want to do it the other way. They must have their reasons. Maybe it's a security reason. Long story short, we really hope, the best for this listener. I hope you get a login soon. All right. Well, believe it or not, that's our show for today. I want to thank you again, William, for coming here today and giving your no BS take on HR and the HR tech world. Any last thoughts before we go? Is there anything you want to plug or anything you want to tell us about?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
I love that.
Solid. Yeah. A lot of people will ask me, William, I want to, what do you, how can people contact you?
Yes.
I'm like, you just put my name in Google and you'll find me. Like, I'm one of those people. Like,
Got
it's a
it.
negative sale, that, that type of bit. Like, I don't need to tell people to contact me. If they want to contact me, I'm pretty easy to find.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. Good. So we know the secret, which is not a big secret at all, which is
Not
Google.
a secret at all. Just Google. Just put my name in Google.
All right.
You'll be all right.
And also, you have a very functioning Calendly that I know works really well to
100%.
schedule time with you. So that's awesome. All right, good. So if you've got some weirdness in the workplace, please go to our website at workplace-weirdness.com and click on Share Your Story. We might feature your question in an upcoming episode. This is Maya Kadar Kovalsky reminding you to embrace the quirks and make the most out of the office chaos. In the meantime, keep working, and whenever possible, stay weird. Today's show is produced by me, Maya Kadar Kovalsky, and Felicia Wang, and written by Dana Burnell Lowe. Ohad Salmon is our strategist, and Barry Rowan is our digital media specialist. Thank you to our production partners at Podify. A special thanks to William Tincup for joining us on today's episode. Also, thanks to you for listening to Workplace Weirdness. Make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time for another breakdown of all things weird from a workplace near you.